It is Friday edition of Money Shot. I've made it to the end of the week. So have you, and so has everyone watching. Kelly,
That
did you
sounds
end up
like an
getting to
Erica
the window?
intro. Like, it's Friday. Like on Monday, she's like, "You got this. Only however many days." It is Friday, but it doesn't feel like a Friday. It feels weird.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I think it's because we're getting into that weird holiday when no one knows what day it is because we're all just kind of like drifting in between Christmas and New Year's and
I'm
just
gonna be
like
honest with you. It's been like that for me since my birthday, aka Thanksgiving. So maybe I'm just getting used to not knowing what fucking day it is.
well, look, it's okay. You've, as Jack alluded, there's going to be some funny stuff coming out about Kelly's college football season because it was so great. You deserve to be a little spacey every now and then because you have absolutely fucking crushed it. Also, did you get to the window on the Chiefs last night? I have to know.
I did not. I
Um,
told you guys I kind of pussyfooted around, if you will, and I didn't want
I've
to
always
lay.
liked that term.
It's funny. I think it's a funny word. I'm going to start bringing it back. But I do think that that minus 120 kind of like messed with me a little bit. I was sitting at the bar. My buddy Richard was in town, and he had the Chiefs in a big contest in Las Vegas. And he said, "Cal, I'm telling you, get the Chiefs." I'm like, Megan's on the Chiefs. I was like, I don't really like it. And we were talking about it. And I said, you know what? I saw the fade guy bet the over. And I go, you know what? I'm going to bet the under. Cruise control, just
Did you
cruise
see my
control.
tweet? Did you
No,
see
I
my?
did
I
not.
literally tweeted. I was like overbetters are dead, and obviously,
So
that
you mushed
aged
my
really
under.
well.
Yeah,
I,
like
I
anytime you get
probably did. I could be. I will be held responsible for mushing your under.
anytime you go to overtime with the dog or the under, life is not that great. I did it the first half under by the grace of the gambling gods, though, because the Chargers could have kicked the field goal or scored a
Three
touchdown,
times.
and they didn't do either. And I will take
Yeah.
it.
Yes. Someone says Chargers were the right side. Look, I can't disagree because I mean, look, they went for it every fucking time. So yeah, there was some points there that
Yeah,
they.
I think Brandon Staley got my kicking for losers statement a little too mixed up. But I will say this: look, the Chiefs do what the Chiefs do best, and they win football games, right? And I think
Right.
we've seen the power ratings really start to plummet. I mean, 2 years ago, Chiefs would have been a 7.5 point favorite in this game. Last year, 4.5 point favorite. So it's really interesting to see that a lot of money, sharp money, came in on the Chargers at 3.5. I would beg to say 3.5 might have been the right side, but I think at 3, it looked like a 3-point type game there at the end. And the better team, the better power rating team, got the W and the cover.
That's back-to-back games between the Bucks and those games that overtime that I needed the touchdown instead of the field goal to push or win. And thank God, Patrick Mahomes, fucking Tom Brady, both got me that cover in overtime, and I thank them so very much. So let's talk about the rest of the games on the slate coming up. First up, we got Pats Colts. You had the Patriots plus 2.5. I teased them earlier in the week with the Bengals. Pats have won 7 straight games, and I believe have covered them all. This is a Patriots team that I thought about for my money line play this week, which I don't know if y'all have caught that, but the Steelers have gone to a complete pick 'em. So woo-hoo.
Hey, you got yourself
I'll
a
probably have
CLV trophy.
I was just about to say I'll probably have a trophy, but I'm hoping for a beanie and a win. But yeah, I like the Patriots here in a tease spot. I think they could win outright, but this just feels like a weird game. I think Belichick's going to know what to do. They're going to have to control Taylor. Again, I like it tease, but I'm not getting involved as far as just the spread. What are you thinking here, Kelly?
Megan, I made this game 2.5. That's what it opened as. So I think the bookmakers did an excellent job here on the number. We're going to see a ton of people betting New England because of exactly what you just said. They have been a cover machine the last 6 weeks. New England has done so great at preventing red zone touchdowns, which coincidentally is where Carson Wentz really fucking sucks. So no, I'm not laying the 2 here with Indianapolis or even the 2.5 at the Barstool Sportsbook. I do think Indianapolis has a really good chance to win this game. I think this looks like a coin flip. Last team to score wins. If you're giving me New England, one of the best teams in the AFC right now. That defense over a touchdown. So in the teaser, getting plus 8.5. I think that is the right move here. You nailed it. This is an ultimate teaser spot.
I think I tweeted that earlier in the week too. Like, is there a better teaser spot than the Patriots this week? And I don't think there is, but hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me in the ass. We got Cardinals, Lions. Cardinals laying 12.5 at the Lions. I'm not getting involved with this game. Could the Cardinals go out there and cover that 12.5? Sure, they definitely could. But man, those Lions, they will backdoor you. They'll. I just feel like I can't trust them to do anything. And honestly, let's just talk about this now. I don't know if any of these games are going to go the way that we're talking, because literally every fucking person in the entire world is re-getting COVID for whatever reason. Everyone in the NFL has gone down, whether it's Sean Payton, Odell Beckham. Like, it doesn't matter. But it's like Baker Mayfield, everyone is riddled with COVID. So, like, for example, this morning, I was about to add the Bills minus 10.5, double-digit favorites. As you said, I've been killing it. And then I look back and all of a sudden it's fucking 12. And I'm like, where literally within hours span of me looking back. But yeah, I will not be getting involved on that note with the Cardinals-Lions game. What are you thinking here? You think it's a lay it and play, or lay it, don't play it with the Cardinals, or are you just going to stay away?
So Megan, I was sitting here going, why didn't we talk Raiders Browns? And I had to look, and it's off the board again.
Yeah,
so that would be why we skipped that one. And there's going to be some other games that are in a similar predicament. And so I'm going to speak to those as a whole. These COVID type games, massive cluster injuries. Normally, I'd be looking to make a case for the overreaction. But at this point in time, we're seeing just absolute utter chaos. I think the best move is probably just to stay away. Wait until we see what the dust settles, particularly with the 2 Saturday games tomorrow. Wake up tomorrow. We got some bowl games. You've got plenty of time before 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific kick to see what happens. And if there is something there, like a massive overreaction spot, I will tweet it out. But Megan nailed it. Like, some of these are just like, what do you even do here? And I never want to tell people to do something with their money without backing it with my own money. And I can tell you for 100% certainty, I will not be backing a lot of these games this weekend with my own money. So going back to the double-digit games, I'm looking at it right here, Megan. 47.5 is going to be the spot I lean towards in this one. And that is because these double-digit favorites to the under have been really profitable. Now, this is a Lions team that I think the final score in Denver might have been a little fraudulent. This is an Arizona team who I have to look at and say, all right, they're off a loss. How do they rebound here? Plus, they play the Colts on Christmas Day. This game doesn't mean a ton to them, and that normal situation tells me to stay away. But I'm probably going to get to the window with the under 47.5 before kickoff because, again, double-digit favorites to the under have absolutely been crushing. Last week, they did go 0-3. That is my disclaimer. But they are still up over 75% on the season.
Hey, everyone's due for some regression every now and then, even the unders.
Even me.
Even you.
Well, the under just got obliterated last week, so that didn't help my case either.
It's okay. Again, regression is all part of our business. We touched on Bills, Panthers. I still kind of want to lay the 12 with the Bills. Like, I feel like they need a true bounce back game where they can beat up on a team. And I don't know if you've seen the Carolina Panthers lately, but it seems kind of like a team that can be just absolutely squashed. Look, I still watch. I say this, and all of a sudden, old school Cam comes back. Yeah, right. I haven't seen that guy in years. Kind of not gonna lie, I'm late to the party here. Obviously, I could have gotten the 10.5 that I saw whenever I woke up this morning. Still lean Bills heavy after those 2 losses to Patriots and then to the Bucks, and I don't know. I lean Bills. What do you think here? Is it lay it, don't play it, or just a game that you kind of want to stay off of?
I think it's a lay it, don't play it here. My only question is how healthy is Josh Allen, right? So we know that because the line is up at the Barstool Sportsbook book, and this morning it got bet up. It's probably because he's going to be good to go, right? And he has had some really tremendous games this year, 300-plus yards through the air. And with Carolina's defense, I think he could have another one. My problem is that I don't think this Bills team is as good as we once thought. I think they were a little overhyped to start the season. And who do they play next week? That's right, the New England Patriots. So I'm going to do another one of those double-digit faves to the under here. The current line over at the Barstool Sportsbook is under 45. I will tweet these out of all the ones I end up playing, but as of right now, that's my lean in the spot.
I think that's a smart play. I feel like the Bills need a good win, but are they actually going to go out there and do it? I don't know. I don't know if they're capable. Then you got Cowboys, Giants. You have Cowboys laying 11 in New York. Another game that I just will not be getting involved in. I think, again, just like the Bills, that the Cowboys should be able to go out there and win by double digits over this Giants team. But I, again, just don't want to get involved. Don't want to spend my money on betting on the Dallas Cowboys. Double-digit favorites. Are you leaning the under here as well? Are we going 3 unders in a row, or do you actually have a play on the spread?
So I was just looking because I wanted to confirm that I already did play this under, Megan. Double-digit favorites to the under, but divisional double-digit favorites usually play really well. That would be the New York Giants. I'm not getting involved in the New York Giants here. Do I think there's some definite overreaction? Sure, I do. But the under that I played here, I played under 45. It's currently 44.5. So somebody really sharp agrees with me there. And that is one that I already did get to the window on.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna go tell you on those 3 unders because I do want some action in those games. I feel like I need a little something, but again, it's just so gross, those double digits, and with everything happening with COVID, I don't know. This next game I took earlier in the week, got 4.5 on it. This was before the Urban Meyer news. I had the Texans plus 4.5. It's now at 5.5 at the Barstool Sportsbook. And I really am looking for your opinion here because I know they fired Urban, and usually the interim coach really gets the players up. Obviously, they weren't happy with Meyer. What do you think the drop? Like, do you think that they're going to come out and be that much of a better team? Because I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if like he might have been an awful coach, but I don't know if the team is actually good enough to be considered a team, especially a favorite, even with this interim coach. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I still think that Davis Mills and the Texans can go out there and cover my 4.5. At least I'm praying. But what is your take on that with him being fired and the Jaguars just not being really a good team this year?
So in college, it's usually a really good thing, right? Coaches get fired, teams rebound. The only coach we've seen get fired this year was John Gruden so far. What did the Raiders do? They went out and won that next week. So at Jags -3, if you got to it early, sure, you've got a great number. I think you probably are going to cash that ticket. Jags -5.5. Now we're asking a really crappy Jacksonville team with Trevor Lawrence, who just threw 4 interceptions last week, to cover as almost a touchdown favorite here. This is a team that hasn't scored more than 17 points in their last 7 games. They got really lucky to beat the Bills 9-7 as 14.5-point underdogs. I mean, outside of that, I have not been impressed with this team whatsoever. I think at 4.5, you're probably fine with the Texans. You guys all know I love those divisional underdogs. This is a chance for Jacksonville to get a win. Does that mean that it's going to correlate? They're going to do so? Look, I think they'll still get up big because it sounds like everybody hated Urban Meyer. And if you do and you play harder, that doesn't always equate to the win. Ask me. I went to K-State. We have a coach that has a play hard chart. And guess what? It's bullshit.
So I think I'm still safe too at the 4.5 again. But everyone, like after that news, is just loving the Jaguars. But I saw everyone on Twitter yesterday loving the Chargers, just being all over the Chargers. And I get it, like I feel like the Texans, no one's given them any credit all year long. And it's like, they haven't been that awful. Like Davis Mills when he has played, hasn't been, I mean, he's not great, but he can throw the ball. He can be accurate. I just think it can be a good spot for the Texans here, especially now that people are not giving them any type of credit, like playing the Jaguars. So I think I'm good with my 4.5. Next, we got the Jets and the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins have some COVID issues as well. I'm not exactly sure who's affected. another game that I just don't want to get involved in. And I also don't think that the Dolphins should be 9.5-point favorites over anybody. So what is your reaction to this one?
So the Jets, yet again, everybody goes to bet them, and didn't matter. The Saints handled them pretty well, and that's because, well, they're the fucking Jets. And that's why we have merch literally that says that.
Throw 4 picks, so that also helped. Thank you, Taysom, for keeping the ball in our players' hands.
You know,
almost as bad as Jameis.
Yeah, right. I miss Jameis, but that
too.
being said, we'll talk about that game here in a little bit. The Jets, I want to say something nice about them, but I'm trying to think, and I'm looking at my data points here, and I'm like, okay, cool. So they've kept it within a respectable touchdown in 3 of their 11 losses. But outside of that, they haven't done anything, right? So this is a big number for Miami. But I don't really trust them to win by over a touchdown. At this point in time, you can't tease it. You're too late to the party there. I do have them in a teaser from earlier in the week, so I just need them to win by a field goal. I do think this defense for Miami is playing better, but their offense is going to have to step up here and do something to cover this spread. New York has just been atrocious, especially as a road underdog. I don't want to touch this game. To me, could Miami win 21-3 and nobody would be shocked? Absolutely.
But I also don't want to put my money on it, hoping that is going to happen.
This week's card, not only was it already ugly prior to all the craziness going on, now it's just going, wow.
It's just taking punches and punches and punches. Next up is my technical game of the week, as it is my beanie. If you win or lose betting the Steelers money line, you get the beanie, but you have to opt in, put a $30 money line on the Steelers to be able to qualify for said beanie. I took this earlier in the week when I believe the Steelers were like +2, maybe it was +1.5. And now it's basically a pick 'em. You can get the Steelers plus half a point for -108. This is a game, a must win for the Steelers. I love backing the Steelers in an underdog role when their backs are against the wall. This is just like that blue collar team, as we've talked about. They're gritty. They're gonna grind. I know the Titans are off of a bye, but they played, as I said, some cupcake competition as of lately. They're coming off the bye, could be a little flat. Obviously, still missing Derrick Henry. I don't know as far as if the COVID bug has hit them at all. I don't think it has. But yeah, I like the Steelers here. I like the money line. And if you like it, go opt in and get yourself a beanie. It's cold out there. Protect your heads.
This one's tough, Megan, because I made the game a pick 'em. And so when you told me that the Steelers were your underdog pick of the week, I said it makes sense. Like I wasn't sure why they were 2.5-point home dogs here. You got Ryan Tannehill, who I've said 100 times on the show, since Derrick Henry went down, he really struggles. When you can't get that run game going and that consistency, I think they're going to lean heavily on their defense. The question is, how good is the Steelers defense going to be? And that's what really concerns me here. And that's probably why I won't be getting involved. Steelers have given up almost 40 points over their last 3 road games, but 20 points in their last 5 home games. So this is where they're back at home. They've got to capitalize here. I think you're on the right side with that plus money. Now that
Those
plus money is gone,
towels. Gotta be
terrible towels going, right? I do want to check the weather here in Pittsburgh because that will favor the Steelers as well. We know we've got some weather going on around the country, so always double check that before making your bets. But we'll see how it ends up playing out. But I'm with you. I think you got the right side, and the plus money early on with the Steelers was definitely the right move.
Again, if you like it, go get yourself a beanie. Next up, we have Falcons, Niners. Niners are laying 9.5 at home. I stayed away from this one because I feel like this could be one of those just weird games where Matt Ryan is able to just pull a game out of his ass. The Niners maybe I don't know who they play or who they have on deck. But I feel like they could just maybe catch them sleeping a little bit here because who's worried about the Falcons, right? And then all of a sudden, here's the Falcons and they're up, a touchdown, and you're like, what the hell happened? I'm not playing it. Cal, this is a double digit essentially Are you looking at the under here as well?
So no, I actually teased. So if you remember, kind of a little degenerate moment, responsibly, of course. I was kind of reeling after Sunday, and I had the Rams in several teasers to close out my week. And I did the show with a couple of the guys from Wager Talk, and we all still love the Rams. You and I talked about the Rams, and this was before Jalen Ramsey was out in the line, moved to 3. So I did a bunch of teasers with the Rams leading up to games this week. The Niners, the Dolphins, the Pats. I mean, there was a ton of them. And so I got the first leg home. So I do have the Niners in a couple of teasers. I teased it with the Bengals as well. And that's how I look at this Niners team. By all means, you should be laying the 9.5 with the Niners, right? This is a San Francisco team that has been playing really well as of late. But my problem is here with this many points, they've been so bad in San Fran, like, or wherever the hell they are. What is the town called? Not Palo Alto, wherever their stadium actually is. Because
Santa Clara? No?
Santa Clara, thank you, that place. And
that's
brain.
Good brain.
Makes it really hard for me, right? I really don't trust this team enough. I do trust them to get a win, but I can't trust them to cover. And that's kind of my problem, because this has been a really scrappy Falcons team that honestly, I think surprised a lot of people. They're 6-7 on the season. Like, I laughed. Somebody had tweeted something about the Atlanta Falcons and how, being outgained and outscoring their opponents. I'm like, sounds like my fantasy team that barely squeaked in the playoffs. The Falcons might fuck around and get in the playoffs here, especially depending on what happens to your Saints that, have been basically decimated for weeks. So This is kind of one of those moments where I know the sharp money came in on San Francisco at 8.5. It's up to 9. I think it looks like a lay it don't play it. But watch the Falcons do something crazy and get the backdoor cover here, especially after all the favorites and all the favorites and overs cash last weekend. These dogs and unders are being juiced, if you will. And I think that's why we've seen some of the sharp guys take numbers like the Steelers and things like that, because the bookmakers are baiting you. Like, okay, you like betting these favorites and overs, and guess what? They hit again last night. But you are going to be paying a premium for this weekend to do so. So it makes me a little nervous here with the 9.5 with the Niners.
You sound so smart. You're so hot and so smart. Like it's just the best of both worlds.
Megan, I have no life. I just sit around and read all day long, work on numbers. You should see my desk. It's funny because my friends even say that. They're like, you have no life during football season. I'm like, I know. This is my life. This is what I chose to do.
Well, I commend you and I thank you. And so does everyone watching Money Shots, because you've been handing out some winners left and right. Next up, I teased the Bengals when they were at 2.5. They are now at 3. You have the Broncos laying 3 at home. And I know the Broncos are your squad, if you will. This is one of those games where I think the Bengals could win outright. I had a hard time selling myself on it, which is why it wasn't my money line play and why I do not have a play in this game, because I feel like whenever I personally feel like a team could win a game outright, I definitely just don't want to get involved if I'm having some hesitancy, especially because the Broncos they've been playing well. I'm going to go ahead and, as I said, pass here. Again, I'm passing a lot this week. We've talked about this for everyone that's just popping in. But, COVID, like, I just don't know what's happening. And, they could announce that Joe Burrow's out tomorrow because of COVID. And, the line could move even more than that. So,
please don't put that into the atmosphere.
Oh, yeah. So
oh, my God.
I'll give it to somebody else. So let me give
it to somebody else.
Like, I don't know if you remember last year, Mincy or was it 2 years ago, whenever Burrow got hurt, Mincy was like, Burrow's bound to get, like, literally the play before, he was like, Burrow's bound to get hurt with the way this O-line is like letting them through. God. And then boom, there goes Burrow. And everyone's like, Ben, you killed Joe Burrow. So yeah, check injury report on Bengals, someone said. So yeah,
I'm checking it right now.
I don't know. I personally, I'm just not getting involved. Who do you think will win Super Bowl? Packers, Chiefs?
Let's see. Okay. NFL is now discussing switching Seahawks to Rams to Tuesday, which would be excellent because Tyler Lockett is on my fantasy team.
He is COVID, right?
Yes. And Jadeveon Clowney has also tested positive for COVID. And
As
obviously,
everyone in the world.
yeah, so great. Anyway, as far as this game goes, Megan, I'm with you. I teased the Bengals on Monday when they were 2.5 up to 3. I can't recommend you teasing it at this point in time. But as a Broncos fan, I have to sit back and ask myself, who the fuck are the Broncos to be 3-point favorites over this offense? So I dug a little deeper. I looked at it a little harder and I said, this is how the Broncos can win this game, right? Or also cover the 3. They have to put pressure on Joe Burrow. Point blank, period, the end. He's got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and CJ.
Is
I'm not even trying to pronounce his
Higgins
last name.
off of COVID protocol? I thought I saw him.
Is he in COVID protocol? See, this is where
I don't know. I don't know for sure. I thought maybe I read that, but it could be a different name that looks like Higgins in my head because sometimes I'll see
and that's just the thing we have to figure out before making bets. And that's why I've only made a couple of bets so far this week because I am literally holding my breath going, who else is next, right? And also definitely double check the rules and I'll text Westy about our rules. If you already did bet the Seattle Rams game, when does it have to be played by for it to be action, right? There are rules at each individual sports book. So keep that in mind as well. Even if you do get the best of the numbers, sometimes if the games get moved, that does come into play. That being said, if the Broncos defense steps up, I like the Broncos here to squeak out a win. I do hope that Cincinnati can keep it respectable within a touchdown, though.
So someone said offensive line injuries for Bengals. So if they need to put pressure on Burrow, that's
the way to do it.
That's a step in the right direction for that play. Next up, we're talking Packers, Ravens. I know Aaron Rodgers is still dealing with COVID, as someone said last week. I held on to that. Love a good dad joke. Fabulous. Round of applause forever you were. And Ravens are catching nearly a touchdown at home. And I kind of understand it. I mean, the Packers have been playing on fire. Aaron Rodgers has been playing on fire. But at what point does that toe really start to bother him and affect him? He said, like last week, it's like the worst that it had ever felt. Like, how is he going to continue to play on it? I see this thing as like a mummified, like, like, have you ever left a grape in the bottom of your fridge and it like how it turned into almost like a raisin? That's how I'm imagining his toe looking right now.
That is disgusting.
Yeah, but it's just if he's been playing on it like a bad toe for weeks, that's just how I would imagine it looking.
So really quick, I'd like to interject. The NFL and NFL Players Association discussing postponing multiple Week 15 games. That was tweeted not that long ago, about 22 minutes ago. So something just to keep in mind here. Again, when betting the slate, you guys just remember there are going to be plenty of outcomes to place wagers on. We've got college basketball as well. We've got college football. So just because NFL is a complete and utter fucking dumpster fire right now doesn't mean that you should be placing your wagers irresponsibly with so many unknowns.
Someone said Pat McAfee came up with Tobin, so shout out Pat.
I can believe that.
Big fan of Pat. So Kelly, what's your play here? What are we doing? Should we tease the Packers down? Like, do the Ravens keep it respectable and keep it within the touchdown? I'm feeling a Packers victory, but I think it might be one of those like down to the wire. Maybe Rodgers isn't putting 100% because of the toe. Maybe they're going to try to run the ball some more. I'm not really sure what the game plan is going to be here to get past Harbaugh and this Ravens team.
Yeah, this is what's hard, right? Is it going to be Huntley? Is it going to be Jackson? I have Jackson on my fantasy team, so it probably is going to be Huntley because that's how my life works. But either way, this Ravens offense has just struggled, right? We saw it last week before Huntley came in and luckily saved my teaser. Thank you for that. But they've just been terrible. But I will say this on the flip side, Baltimore's defense, last 5 games, just under 18 points a game. So you've got Aaron Rodgers who does what he does, especially against teams like the Bears where he just absolutely obliterates bad defenses. I like the Ravens as a home underdog here. But the line is starting to suggest that it's not going to be Jackson. I wonder if Huntley, who was able to step in last week, is going to be able to really step up against a pretty solid Packers team. As of right now, I'm going to pass at 6.5. If this does hit 7, though, I think I have no choice but to start getting involved here with the Ravens in an overreaction spot to Lamar Jackson being out.
Yeah, I mean, was it last game that he went out or the game before? I mean, Huntley did a fantastic job. I mean, I nearly looked like Lamar Jackson out there. He was running all over the place. He was hustling to get past the markers. I was really impressed. So I don't think the drop off is as much as people would consider. Next up, Saints Bucks. As I said, you have Sean Payton with COVID. You have nearly half the fucking Saints team that's just like in their graves, with whether it be knee injuries, foot injuries, back injuries, sprains. It doesn't matter. Like whatever could happen to the Saints has happened. And now you have the Bucks as an 11-point home favorite. Um, I I mean, I hate to say this is a lay it, don't play it, especially because Tom Brady knows the Saints team really well. He knows Sean, and vice versa. Sean Payton knows Tom Brady well, but I have to lay it, no play it. I don't think the Saints stand a chance here to even cover the 11. I feel like they should just go out. They need the replacements. We need someone to come in. We need to have like a practice squad. Just have like people come in off the streets just to bang out a couple games for us, and I think we'll get some covers.
So Megan, what time is this game? I forget. I mean, I'm going to be there, but I'm just curious.
Tom Brady's going to be tired, sleepy boy. It's at 7:20 p.m.
Yeah, Central Time, 8:20 here on the East Coast. I'm actually taking Grandma to this game because she is a huge Saints fan. I found out, not my grandma, but she's like my adopted grandma. It's Brett's grandma, and she's fucking hilarious. She's a couple years ago accidentally talked to text about her titties to me, and I was pretty drunk at a bar, and I posted it, and she was not very happy. So I'm hoping there's some really good grandma quotes from Sunday, but we're going to wheel her into the game and see if she can't get a Saints win for her Christmas present. I don't think the Saints are going to win here. That's just the honest God truth, but I do really like the plus 11. Gave this out as my best bet prior to Sean Payton not being the head coach of this team for this game, but this is more of a play against the Bucs. Look, this defense has not been great. And I don't care what anybody says. They're giving up over 25 points in their last 3 games. Now you've got Leonard Fournette, who also, by the way, is on my fantasy team. Of course he is now questionable for this game. And that's the big way that I think that they're going to have to really do what they did last time, Megan. And I know it was Trevor Siemian, not Taysom Hill. And I will never bash Trevor for getting me that nice W over the Bucs plus 5.5 and that money line sprinkle. But I do think that Taysom Hill is going to be equally as great, if not better, than Trevor because he's able to use his little legs and he's going to run us to a ATS victory along with Alvin Kamara, pending something fucking crazy happening again within this game. Look, I don't see Tampa Bay covering this large number. You've got New Orleans, who's been great in prime time. And again, I know that is partially a Drew Brees stat, partially a Sean Payton stat. But again, this is more of a play against Tampa Bay. Yes, I'm stepping in front of that freight train once again. Oh, by the way, also like the under here means points are at a premium.
Yeah, definitely. I hope Grandma gets her wish for the outright win. I just will not be playing it. I'll just sit back, hopefully happy as a clam, and watch. Hopefully.
Well, the bad news for me, regardless of the outcome, is I already hammered the shit out of it. It was a game I loved that much early on in the week before everything just kind of started steamrolling. So I'm already locked and loaded. Yes, I could bet the Bucs on the other side, but I do feel still very confident that this Saints team is going to be able to keep it respectable. You guys know, double-digit divisional dogs. I know Tampa Bay has been great at home, but we'll see how many Saints fans are there. I'm guessing there's going to be like 500 of us. I'll wear black and gold for Megan.
Absolutely. Please do. Again, remember Steelers money line, $30, opt into the Barstool Sportsbook. You get a beanie. Kelly and I have a parlay possibly in the making.
Yay.
Think it might pay 3 to 1. It's pretty nice. And I'll give you a hint. It might involve another co-worker, but not necessarily him.
Megan, I'll tell you right now what it'll pay. Plus, they'll give us a nice little boost here, if you will. A little money shots parlay just for fun. I do think that it might be a little juicy. So maybe they'll be kind enough to just give us a little even money here. It pays. No, you're right, Megan. You already did your research. It does pay 3 to 1. So I'm here for it. Good job. I thought, well, there's
hopefully
a kind of a juicy favorite in there, and it made me a little apprehensive that it was going to kill our odds. But
I thought so too. But then hopefully the kind people at the Barstool Sportsbook will boost it more for us. So maybe we can even get it to pay out maybe 4-1. Maybe they'll really hook us up. Who knows? They don't want to give us too much over here because we're the sharps.
We are the sharps, and we're going to hit this money shots parlay this week. We just need a couple of favorites to win and maybe a little underdog to win outright. And if we can get there, we'll cash a ticket with everybody else for the bowl games for tomorrow.
Absolutely. So that is money shots for this Friday. Yes, we will have a Monday show concerning Thursday and Friday next week. Probably not. It's Christmas, I think, on Thursday, right? Is that the day Christmas
Well,
is?
Christmas Eve is Friday. Christmas is Saturday. But
okay.
Don't worry. There'll be tons of content because I'm going to have nothing else to do but sit around and get drunk with my family here in Florida. And so I'll be posting all sorts of hilarious shit. Maybe I can get my 2-year-old niece to give out my picks. That might be funny if she drops some F-bombs in there as well.
Well, you gotta make sure it's responsibly.
Yes.
Just make sure we all be responsible. Happy Christmas, holidays, whatever you celebrate. We'll see you on Monday. Yeah, y'all are the best. Look out for that money shots parlay.